I left my daughter with my wife. The smell of bleach still lingers when I remember it. It wasn't the bleach itself, it was the image. My daughter, 7 years old, on her knees, an oversized apron draped over her shoulders like a shroud. The word MAID stamped across her chest in block letters. Her tiny hands gripped a toilet brush, her knuckles white. She wasn't crying. That was the worst part. Her eyes were hollow, quiet, as if she'd already learned that crying wouldn't change a thing. My wife's laugh sliced the air. "She stole a cookie," she said, tilting her wine glass as if this were some kind of joke. Her father leaned back, smug. "Not smart enough for school anyway. A maid suits her future." Their voices blurred. My daughter's silence was louder. I picked her up. She clung to me like a secret. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I walked out of that house with her in my arms. And 6 months later, on Thanksgiving, when I walked back through their door, the air froze. They knew. Even before I opened my mouth, they knew. The night I left with my daughter, I didn't look back. Not once. But silence breeds questions, and in silence, truth scratches at the walls. My wife called, of course. Her messages filled my phone. Anger first, then pleading, then silence again. Her parents tried too, their arrogance dripping through every word. Ungrateful, weak, running away from responsibility. I ignored them. But in the quiet of my new apartment, watching my daughter finally sleep without trembling, questions haunted me. Why would they degrade her like that? Why would her own mother, my wife, strip her of dignity for something so small? It didn't make sense. Unless it wasn't just about discipline, it was something deeper, something older, something poisonous. At first, I dismissed it as cruelty, the kind people excuse with family tradition. But when I looked into my daughter's eyes, those eyes that mirrored mine too perfectly, I felt it. The tension, the contempt, not just for her, for me. And that was when the suspicion began to grow. The feeling that their mockery wasn't punishment, it was possession. I moved in silence. A routine of school runs, bedtime stories, small smiles that slowly stitched her back together. But in the background, I began to dig. Bank statements, phone records, the small, careless details people leave behind when they think no one's watching. My wife's life was full of shadows. Late nights unaccounted for. Conversations cut short when I entered the room. Her father's voice, always just a little too close in those calls she pretended were about family matters. The puzzle was ugly, but I built it piece by piece. DNA tests came next, not because I doubted my daughter was mine. I knew she was. But because truth is best written in black and white, impossible to refute. And when the envelope came back, it carried 2 confirmations. One that bound me to my daughter, and one that shattered everything else. The test revealed that my wife was not her biological mother. The pieces locked into place with sickening precision. Adoption papers forged, lies told. A child reshaped into their image, their control. They had taken my daughter not out of love, but possession. To mold, to humiliate, to break. And they thought I would never notice. Thanksgiving dinner. Their table spread with dishes, laughter rehearsed, the illusion of family still intact. I walked in holding a plain folder. No smile, no greeting. My daughter stayed outside with a friend. I would not let her see this. My wife froze first. Her parents followed, their voices catching in their throats. I slid the folder onto the table. The paper inside glared white against the polished wood. No words at first, just silence. Then her father's hand trembled as he opened it. DNA results, forged adoption records, dates, names, proof. Her mother gasped. My wife's lips moved, forming denials that collapsed into nothing. Finally, she whispered, "You don't understand." But I did. I understood everything. I leaned in, my voice flat, almost bored. She is mine, not yours, not your experiment, not your servant. Their faces drained of color. For once, silence belonged to them. I watched my wife's tears gather, but I felt nothing. I watched her father's jaw tighten, the arrogance stripped bare. I said nothing more. Instead, I stood, and as I reached the door, I left them with one sentence. Every time you sit at this table, remember what you lost. I didn't slam the door. I didn't raise my voice. The quiet was louder. The night air outside was sharp, clean. My daughter's laughter floated from the car where her friend waited. Untouched, unbroken. I slid behind the wheel, and for the first time in months, I exhaled. No anger, no grief. Just clarity. They had tried to rewrite her life, to chain her future to their cruelty. But they underestimated me. They mistook silence for weakness. Now, their house will rot with secrets, and I will raise my daughter in light, away from their shadows. I will never forgive them. But forgiveness was never the point. Truth was. And truth, once revealed, does not return to silence. I drove away without looking back, because the dead don't deserve farewells.